stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. Yeah. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Atlanta Falcons Football Podcast. I am your host, Sterlington. This is your co-host, Cameron. And we're back at it again. I know we've been out for a few weeks. So have the Falcons. Well, so have the players. Falcons been quite busy the last few weeks. And we got a lot to cover. We got, new coaching hire, new coaching decisions made on the coaching staff, new GM. And we're about to cover everything since we last talked. But first things first, what's up with you, Cam? How you been?
I've been good, man. I wish I was in Cancun like the players. But unfortunately, I'm stuck in this cold that we've gotten, man. We got some snow this past couple days.
Yeah.
The temperature has been frigid, but hey, aside from that, the Falcons have been cooking up something nice, baby, as far as the coaching regime and front office. So, things to be happy about. How about you, my boy?
So it's fair to say that you are a fan of the Kevin Stefanski hire.
You know what? All things considered, and the fact that the Browns could not buy a head coach, they couldn't get somebody. They couldn't interview people, bro. People were turning them down left and right. That was giving signs of maybe Stefanski wasn't the problem.
So this is so hilarious, right? So I've kind of been a Stefanski truther, right? Because I always felt like one of the troubling things about making certain moves with your franchise is that now, okay, you losing because of the moves you made, and now it's time to fire somebody. And you gotta fire somebody. Somebody got to be held accountable. The fans need to see change. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I think you should just fire a coach just to fire somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, sometimes you got to look at the team. Like, my whole thing is, all right, and this is why I like to have clear roles, which we're going to get into later with the Falcons setup. But I like the GM to be in control of personnel and the coach to be in control of the product on the field, obviously, because it make it easier for me to know who to fire. All right? If I look at the team and I say, oh, okay, the personnel sucks, I know to fire the GM. And if I look at the team and I say the personnel's good, the team just ain't performing, I fire the coach. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, Cleveland had a bad couple of seasons last couple of years, but I'm like, yeah, it was built off all that shit you did with Deshaun Watson, and it finally kind of slid in, and, you're getting your back pay for what happened because Deshaun Watson's first year actually playing, he went 5-1 with Deshaun with that version of the team. In fact, they went 4-1 after pulling Joe Flacco off the street to come in, and they went 11-6 and went to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They got squished, but they beat some good teams, including one of the team in the playoffs that squished them.
Hey, if you can find a way to win a playoff game with the Cleveland Browns, hey, maybe you're not that bad of a head coach. Hey, we have to understand the Cleveland Browns are a dumpster fire of an organization, man. They are poorly run. There's a reason why coaches were turning down interviews with them. They didn't want the job. In a league where there were upwards to 10 head coaching vacancies, I may be over. Was it about? I want to say it was close to
it started out with 8, and I think it went up to 10 after Sean McDermott got fired. And did somebody else get fired?
Jim Harbaugh got let. Well, I guess it was more of a parting of ways. I guess Jim Harbaugh didn't.
Jim Harbaugh got fired.
He got fired too. But yeah, I'm like,
a partner with. That's right. It was 8 to. I think it was 8. I mean, we could count them out. The Falcons, Ravens, Steelers, Bills, Giants, Browns, Raiders, Titans. Wow, that is so.
You said, did you mention the Cardinals?
I did not mention the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 9.
Miami, number 10.
And Miami, number 10.
It's 32 head coaching positions in the NFL.
And a third of them opened up.
And did you mention the Raiders too?
I did.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a total of 10. Yeah, it's 32
and just
positions.
about a third of them opened.
10 of them are available, and applicants are turning down interviews with the Cleveland Browns. Hey,
And look,
I'm a big believer in where there's smoke, there's fire, and that organization is burning.
so I know that you a fan of the move, and I guess I'll go ahead and stop screwing around. I'm totally a fan too. Well, I guess I made that clear when I said I've kind of been a Stefanski truther, but also at the same time, and this probably gonna end up being the thumbnail, but I kind of look at, and I know a lot of people like to make jokes that, oh, these the Atlanta Browns, and we suck because we going to Cleveland, but I'm like, hey, uh, let me jog your memory about using Cleveland as break glass in case of emergency. So for those to take this walk with me down memory lane. Um, in 2011, we made a huge trade to move up from 26 to pick 5 with the Cleveland Browns. Gave up several future first round. Well, we gave up our first rounders for that year and the next year, maybe the year after. I can't remember, but we gave up a huge trade package to move up, and we selected the greatest receiver in Atlanta Falcons history, Julio Jones, who was a part of our 2 NFC Championship appearances in that era, and also our 1 Super Bowl appearance in that era. So, and also the Browns didn't draft any players nearly as good as that. None of them. And then you fast forward. Speaking of which, we don't have to fast forward too far. In 2015, when we hired Dan Quinn, we got an offensive coordinator from Cleveland. It was Kyle Shanahan. For those who have forgotten, all right. Kyle Shanahan was a part of Cleveland's coaching staff in the past. I think the last team he coached with was the Browns. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the Browns. And the big reason I think it was the Browns was because following that year in 2016, we signed Alex Mack, future Hall of Famer in the offseason from the Cleveland Browns. And then right before the season, right after cuts, we picked up Taylor Gabriel, a guy who Kyle Shanahan worked with in Cleveland. And both of those guys turned out to be huge key pieces in addition to Kyle Shanahan to us getting to the Super Bowl that year. All right. And I'm looking at all of those and how those played out, and I'm like, well, damn. Maybe when we pick up something from Cleveland, good things happen.
Hey, we have been using them as a nice little proper stepping stone, knocking off the dirt on those hidden gems. Yep. Also, Cleveland has done a stellar job at preventing us from making a colossal mistake.
Forgot the last one. I knew I was forgetting one. Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead, remind the folks
They prevented us from making a $250 million guaranteed colossal mistake in Deshaun Watson. So, hey, we take from them and it turns to good, and they take from us or potentially take from us and it turns to bad. So, hey, thank you, Cleveland.
Austin Hooper made a Pro Bowl when he was a Falcon. He went to Cleveland, and actually he's going to the Super Bowl this year, but as a Patriot. But he went to Cleveland and kind of fell off the map.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? He's still a guy who plays for a lot of teams. He's a starter, but like he ain't had nearly the career he's had since he left Atlanta, and it started with him going to Cleveland.
Couldn't agree more, brother. Like, hey, just because it don't look good in brown and gold, brown and brown, don't mean it don't look good in red and black.
That's right. That's right. And look, it's a common occurrence. Like, and that was all off the top of our head. We named like 5 different instances of a Browns interaction with the Falcons that worked out very positively in our favor. Now, look, that's all happenstance, right? You can't really look at it like that. But where's the fun in that? Where's the fun?
Exactly, man. Where's the fun?
Like, it's the off season. I'm about to have a good time, and I'm about to huff some of that copium. All right?
Oh, baby.
And I'm about
call me
to
Scarface because I got a big old plate of it right in front of me.
That's right. That's right. I'm about to huff it all. I'm about to put a towel over my head and all. wet one. And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get all this hopium because look, it's this is what we wanted. We wanted a new change in leadership. In the past, I've said that I want a coach with experience. I know a lot of people, and I guess this transitioned me to my next question for you. Um, but yeah, in the past, I've wanted experience. Obviously, like you said, there were 10 head coach openings, which means there were 10 guys who got fired, and then there's also other up and coming coordinators that are potential people to get hired. And, really, you look at all of that and you say, all right, there was a lot of options to choose from. Obviously, a lot of people want to Harbaugh. He ended up going to the Giants. The next question is based off of everybody who was available or who became available after the Falcons made their hot decision. Are you satisfied? At least relative to what was expected. Like maybe, obviously we've taken some time to digest this before we gave our reaction to it. So, maybe we huff and hopium. But what was your initial feeling about Kevin Stefanski being hired as the Atlanta Falcons' next head coach?
Truth be told, I was a little apprehensive, but not because of Stefanski, but because we're bringing in a new head coach, and I didn't know who he was willing to retain. And what I mean by that is, on the defensive side of the ball, we were able to keep Jeff Ulbrich, Nate Ollie, and essentially our entire defensive coaches. We were able to keep everybody. We got some continuity, which was sorely needed considering the team has had arguably its best defensive season in its history as far as sack wise.
Yeah,
Like
as far as that, that is
wise,
good.
yard wise might be a little bit different,
Yeah.
but this might be the greatest defense from the Falcons I've ever seen. And granted, we had a couple bad games, but I feel like that's more on the offense just not being able to generate anything at times.
Hold on.
But the
I
fact,
gotta stop you there, Cam. I will not allow the erasure of the Grits Blitz defense that has the NFL record for least amount of points surrendered per game.
oh
uh,
yeah,
in the
I
season.
respect that. I respect that. But hey, this Falcons team,
Yeah.
and I'm 32 years old. I can honestly say this is the greatest Falcons defense I've ever seen,
Yeah.
that I have ever witnessed. Man, we had a rookie put up 10 and a half sacks. We had another rookie have 5 interceptions. I hate that I hate that Billy Bowman had to go down with an Achilles injury, but man,
At least he was making
oh
plays
my
before he went
God,
down. Yeah, he gave
Terry,
you some
you
hope.
might have messed up some things, but you left us with a nice crop of defensive studs, and I thank you for that. Man, this defense and the fact that we were able to keep the continuity, keep the same coaches in house, keep grooming these young bucks.
Made you feel a lot better about the Stefanski hire?
Absolutely. The fact that he was like, "Hey, what y'all doing on defense? Y'all can keep that. Y'all can keep that. I'm good with that."
Look, I'm
Yes.
a huge fan of, as I said earlier, let's not make changes for the sake of making changes. Like sometimes I feel like coaches too often just
Thank
come in
you,
and they
dog.
just gotta put their guys in and all of that. And I'm like, bro, look at what you got.
What's the age old
Like the
saying?
guys you got now on defense, like do you want to risk that? Do you want to come to Atlanta, a team that has had 20 years of average to worst in the league? And I say average as out of respect for the job that Ryan Nielsen did. But honestly, you take out that one season, and even if we went to the Super Bowl, we one of the worst teams in the league at getting sacks. And you have a defensive coordinator that comes in his first year, and he makes this team second in the league in sacks and breaks a franchise record in sacks for the season. And you come in, the first thing you do is say, "No, I want a different guy." Like I'm like, we making change just to make it. We making change just to make it. Why don't you look at that? And honestly, and I'm gonna get into this more, when we talk about the GM hire. But honestly, I'm like, how about we build off of that? Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot that we still need to fix on offense, but I'm just like, well, if we got a defense that getting 57 sacks, that's getting turnovers and stuff, I'm like, why not turn that defense from a good defense into a great defense? We just saw in the playoffs, several teams went pretty far this year because they had a great defense. We saw Houston make it to the divisional round, and they played the Patriots, who basically, at least in the playoffs, have been a good defense, middle and offense kind of team. And we saw with the Seahawks, the Seahawks, they can be shaky on offense, but then they go crazy on defense and then crazy on special teams, and then they turn these games around. Now the last couple games, obviously, they had, more production from the offense, and they have had good production from their offense all year, but a lot of games, they were able to turn those games around because of their good defense and their good special teams. You know what I'm saying? We're starting to see that old formula is starting to be a little bit more valid again, right? And I'm with you. Honestly, getting Stefanski and getting the chance, not even just getting Stefanski, but getting a chance to pair him with a guy like Jeff Ulbrich, who's already familiar with a lot of the pieces, and that also helps, like you said, build that continuity where we don't have another guy coming in and now he's changing up the defense. Now guys got to get used to playing in positions that they weren't playing the year before, which would really suck because you got a bunch of young guys and they playing well. Now it's like, all right, let's build off of that and start getting a little more complex in our defensive approach, because these guys already know the defense. Now we can start to play with it a little bit more. You know
Man,
what
what's
I'm
the
saying?
age old saying, bro? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. And we finally got a toy that ain't fully broke. Like it's working. It's
It's
working,
working.
man.
And
And like so for me, that was my biggest concern. And we kind of addressed that. So everything else, hey, Stefanski, what you want to do on offense? Hey, I believe he has the tools to be able to figure it out. Now,
another
granted,
thing too, how do you feel? How do you feel he's gonna be able to help Penix?
that's honestly the biggest question I have left, man. If we keep it in the buck, I don't think we're gonna bring Kirk back. And right now, the only QB we have in the room is MP is Michael Penix Jr. And he's coming off an ACL. And he mentioned in an interview he'll be ready come week 1. But I don't. What if he's not? You know. So I'm thinking we'll bring in a veteran guy. Truth be told, I would not be surprised if we brought in someone like Joe Flacco to keep it a
Wow,
buck.
that'd be crazy.
I would not be surprised. And hey, I've seen some of Joe Flacco's tape this past year, man. The guy can still sling it, brother. I'm not granted, not every quarterback over the age of 40 can do it, but hey, Joe Flacco has shown me he can still do it. Now he might have to throw an interception here or there, but hey, Joe Flacco is a pretty good quarterback. A pretty good quarterback. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's the answer, just in case Penix isn't fully healthy. Who knows? Like for me, that's the biggest question mark right now, because I'm pretty confident in the way we kind of have established our offensive coaching staff. Like I like how we lost was it Ledford? Our
Dwayne Leffert,
line coach.
yeah.
We lost Dwayne Ledford, but hey, we brought in Bill Callahan, who is one of the greatest offensive line coaches in the NFL history.
Yeah.
I love that hire. Love the hire. So we replaced somebody good with somebody great. Cool. I'm for me the biggest question mark on this team is the quarterback position. And don't get me wrong, I believe in Michael Penix, but unfortunately he does have an injury history, man, and I am concerned about how this shit plays out. Granted, this is his second ACL tear. It's a different knee this time, so it's not like he's tearing the same knee twice. But that being still, this is his fifth season-ending injury. So yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned, and I think we may need a contingency plan. Hey, I take that. I take that maybe back. We do need a contingency plan. And seeing as we don't have a first round draft pick, seeing as that we're gonna have to really make some things shake this upcoming year in free agency, I bet I bet a good chunk of money we sign a pretty solid vet.
I'm 100% with you on that. If you've watched us in the past, you know that we pretty high on Michael Penix. I won't speak for you how you feeling now, but I'm just speaking on what we've said in the past. And I don't know if I still believe in Michael Penix or if I still want to believe in Michael Penix. You know what I'm saying? Because That's a guy who I fell in love with him in his final season in college. It was, so weird when he actually became a Falcon, and he's shown a lot of good flashes, but he has been a guy who the biggest thing to me, I think, is that he showed he still has development, and him getting injured and not being able to work on his craft in the offseason, and then, we expecting him to be ready by week one. I'm like, even if he's physically ready, is he going to be ready for football given what his limitations were last year? And he's not going to be building off of that. So we basically going to be coming back and getting the same quarterback more or less. Now this is where I think the Stefanski hire can be huge. Him and Tommy Reese. One thing I know is that they're gonna have some variation in the run game, right? And that's gonna be huge when you got a guy like Bijan in the backfield. I know they're probably gonna look to add another running back. I don't think we're gonna be able to bring Algier back. Financially, it doesn't make sense to allocate that kind of money to the running back position. But also, I think Algier is ready to try to go somewhere to compete for a starting role. I think he's shown.
Unfortunately, I agree, man. I wish we could keep him because, hey, look at how Detroit does it. Every team, every really good team has a 1-2 punch. It's not a one running back system anymore, man. You need to have
Um,
the 1-2 punch, and
Especially
I
when
love it.
styles are different. That's the thing. Like he's like him and
Yes.
Bijan are physical, but they physical in two completely different ways.
Man, Algier has never fumbled, man. I want to keep him.
You see
I
what I'm
like I,
saying? Like
I
when
don't know
Algier
how
get
we
the ball,
keep
you
him.
don't have to worry about the ball ending up in the other team's hand.
I don't know how we keep him, but if we can somehow find a way to financially make it shake, absolutely. But it's like what you said. He wants to vie for a starting position, and rightfully so. He has earned that.
Yeah.
I just wish we could keep him. That's on my bucket list too. I like
Yeah.
can we find a way to keep him, but if not, I completely understand.
Look, I'll tell you what, this what we'll do. If we got time at the end, I'm gonna list off some free agents. I know we kind of talked about it in the last episode, but I'll list off some pending free agents, and you can let me know if you want to keep them. All right. Um, but yeah, with Stefanski, they gonna run outside zone and inside zone, and they're gonna just move it around. And that's, I think, just excuse me, removing that element of predictability from the offense is gonna really help the run game. And I think that's gonna be something that's gonna help Michael Penix Jr. I feel like as long as we can get the run game going, get Michael Penix Jr. comfortable with play action, I think. I think that is gonna be one of the key factors in helping Penix with his return and getting back used to it. But he's I mean, look, he's got kind of a history of helping develop a good quarterback. Like Baker Mayfield's a pretty decent quarterback. When Baker was in Cleveland, he technically has a better or a higher win percentage with Cleveland than he does with Tampa. And he also how by the narrowest of margins, but they are there. He has a better touchdown to interception ratio with his time under Stefanski than with his time in Tampa. Now, obviously, he's been throwing it a lot more in Tampa, so that's kind of contributing to the ratio. Like he has more overall touchdowns with Tampa, but he has more interceptions as well. And some of that's just Baker being Baker, so that's just what you live with. But you know, to me, I look at that as proof of concept when it comes to Stefanski having the ability to help develop a young quarterback. Right, like the main reason Baker ended up out there is because they decided to go for Watson. Again, Browns, thank you, for that.
So
Um,
much.
and yeah, so when I look at him and I look at some of the other guys we brought in for interviews, I was pretty satisfied. So I felt like in the beginning I was kind of lukewarm on it, but only because it's like that, that antsiness you feel, right? Like, if I'm being honest, I don't think I would have been over the moon for John Harbaugh either. And I know that sounds crazy for me to say that, but John Harbaugh, I think he kind of needs a little solidity at that quarterback position. And also, he's 63. And, when coaches start getting a little longer in the tooth, I'm kind of getting a little shaky on how I feel about him because the game takes a certain level of energy, a certain way to connect with players. And honestly, he's had plenty of success in Baltimore over the last few years. So, I don't get to be the guy to say that, right? They lost that one last game and they missed out on the playoffs this year. But they've been making the playoffs plenty of times under Lamar. But they also had those middling years where Flacco started falling off, and before Lamar got there, and they kind of were not really that good a team, right? They really weren't that good. So I looked at that and just thought about the fit John Harbaugh would be here, and I wasn't sure about it. Um, Clint Kubiak, obviously, he was highly rated and respected for us. But I was nervous about waiting. I was nervous about waiting. We had too many other good jobs available that you could miss out. And if you can get one of the guys who was looked at before, we knew what Clint Kubiak's decision was going to be, and before we knew Sean McDermott was going to be a coach and Mike Tomlin was going to be not with the Steelers. We looked at Stefanski, or at least that's how most of the NFL looked at Stefanski as one of the premier options. And
Hey, there are still head coach vacancies in the league right now.
yeah,
Right now.
we
And if
got
we didn't
one of the
sign him,
guys. Go ahead.
and if we didn't sign him, we might be one of those teams where like who we're gonna get? Who we gonna get, man? So I'm kind of glad we nipped it in the bud early, man. Between us getting Matt Ryan, we didn't even bring that up. Matt Ryan's I guess
think we talked about it on the last episode.
President of football operations and whatnot. So
yeah, running interviews and stuff immediately.
He's gonna be the liaison between, I guess the
RDB,
coaches,
I guess, and
RDB. Yeah, so
coaches and GM.
He's gonna be he's gonna be working hand in hand with our new general manager, who will be Ian Cunningham. So yeah, I'm liking how this is shaking out so far.
All right. So clearly we enjoy the Stefanski hire, but I gotta bring this up because I've been seeing a little too much discussion about this. Is Stefanski good for the culture?
You know what's good for the culture? Winning.
Man,
and I don't even want to hear this shit. People want to talk about culture, this culture that. We had a black head coach and a black GM. What the fuck did that give us?
Hey, did you like losing?
And I was the biggest Raheem believer. I was a big Terry Fontenot believer. I loved that shit. I was praying that shit worked out, brother. I was praying, like, please do. Please do.
It would be nice.
Raheem did something that I didn't agree with as soon as he was hired, and I said it time and time again on this podcast.
Let me guess. He hired 2 first-time coordinators for his two first-time play callers for his coordinator positions, even though he a minority head coach. Is that what you're gonna say?
Absolutely, man. This is your second stint. You are probably not gonna get a third at being a head coach in the NFL, bro. You are a black man in the NFL trying to be a head coach, and you're gonna hitch your wagon to Jimmy Lake and Zach Robinson? That's your fault, dog.
It is.
It's your fault, brother.
It is.
I wish you nothing but the best in San Fran, because he's a new DC in San Fran. Yes, I wish you nothing but the best. But that is your fault. You are the reason you lost that job.
He is, man.
Talking about what's good for the culture. You know what's good for the culture? Winning. Winning is what's good for the culture, brother. That's what's good.
Let me tell you.
I don't even want to. Yeah, people. He don't fit the culture. Whatever.
That culture shit kills.
You know who fit the culture? You know who fit the culture? Matt Ryan, and that's why he the new president of football operations.
Right,
he fit the culture.
Kill me about that culture shit sometime, man. I'm just like, bruh.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know who this is. This cannot be a big contingent of the fans. I feel like certain people love the story, and so they run with it and make it a bigger deal. When people say he not good for the culture, right? And then it's because, they don't like how he was treating Shadur Sanders because he Deion. I'm like, nigga, what? Excuse that language. See if I can bleep that out. But I'm like, man, Deion was here for 4 years. He won nothing. I'm like, what do y'all care about? I'm like, yo, it's nice that we had a baller on the team. Don't get me wrong. Deion Sanders is a baller, one of the GOATs at his position. That's nice. The high step in, playing for the Braves, all that is fantastic. Don't get me twisted. You know what I'm saying? All that feels nice. But I'm like, we didn't win. That time is not memorable for the right reasons. And so then y'all got this weird loyalty to him over perceived disrespect, even though Shadur never said anything bad about Stefanski, right? He never said anything bad about that. Um, I feel like a lot of this, Stefanski trying to sabotage Shadur stuff kind of came from Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocho. I kind of heard that there first. That was the first time I heard that. And to be fair, now there was some weird stuff going on, like the part where he is having that good game against Tennessee, and then they take him out on a 2-point play. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? That's weird. But that aside, even though Shadur wasn't a starter, he was still getting a lot of coaching. And he was, Shadur never spoke bad of him. And quite frankly, if Shadur playing well, a lot of that got to do with Stefanski making sure he set him up to succeed in those moments. So, I feel like you got to acknowledge that too. So, like, you basing a lot of this off of weird loyalty to people who have nothing to do with our franchise or little to do with our franchise, and then also running off with a narrative that doesn't seem to hold water. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about that. But I just felt like we had to touch on that before we moved on and talked about. Wait. Do you want to talk about his beef with Baker Mayfield before we move on to Ian Cunningham?
Man, Baker got beef with everybody. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Baker truther. I'm a believer in his game. Even though he played for Tampa Bay, I wanted the Falcons to get Baker over Kirk Cousins. It wasn't gonna happen, but I did. I did. But that man, I hope he got a lot of dip for all that chip on his shoulder, bro. Because man, like he got beef with everybody, bro. So if he got beef, if he got more beef with us, cool. Guess what? You got Zach Robinson as your OC. I hope it work out. I hope it work out.
Yeah.
We don't, and in typical Falcon fashion, I bet it do work out. I bet Zach go to Tampa and figure it out because he did. He damn sure didn't figure it out in Atlanta.
I mean, he was figuring something out. The real big issue for him was that he was terrible on third downs. But honestly, we were one of the most efficient red zone offenses when he was in 2025 this past year, and it was something else we were good at. He did start figuring some stuff out. We'll see how it goes. But also, the other thing is that he going against Jeff Ulbrich, who does have a certain level of familiarity with his offense. So
Exactly.
we'll see. And also I've been hearing whispers that Mike Evans might not be a buck going forward. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean it only makes sense at this point. I'm like, you can only invest so much in the receiver spot, and then come on now, like they if they at this point if they re-sign Mike Evans, that's irresponsible. With all of the stuff they've put into the receiver position so far. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I brought it up because it was a talking point, but I was just like, man, shut up, Baker. Like, what? But to be fair, now he said that because D. Orlando Ledbetter wrote the article and basically referred to Tom what's his face Baker Mayfield's time in Cleveland has failed, and I'm like, Baker,
failed. He won a playoff game.
I know.
Cleveland.
Look, it's his fault. It's something Orlando Ledbetter said that set Baker off, and I felt the same way. I was like, now here we go, having to defend smoke from something Orlando Ledbetter said, and a lot of Falcons fans don't particularly care for him. He's a pretty negative guy for the Falcons, beat writer for the Falcons, which is fair. If you've been around the Falcons a lot, it's hard not to be negative sometimes. But I'm just like, man, relax, bro. That's a writer. I mean, and you know what? Look, pull up. We hope we get your best game because honestly, a lot of your best games have ended in L's with us. Like he's 2-4 against the Falcons since coming to the Tampa. All right, including that last game where they blew a double-digit lead and he missed a couple throws at the end of the game that could have ended the game and the Falcons won. All right, so I ain't sweating it too much. But yeah, so time to move on to the firmly to talk about the Falcons' new GM hire in Ian Cunningham. Now, just to give a little small rundown on Ian Cunningham's background, he spent the last 5 years, 4 years, last 4 years with Chicago Bears as the assistant general manager. He helped build the team that they just put together now that went to the playoffs. Before that, he spent 5 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles as part of their front office. He was there when they went to the Super Bowl and also when they won the Super Bowl 2 years later in 2017. Oh, no, I don't think he was with them with the first one. I think he was there with them when they won. No, they won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, so he was there. I
Yes,
think he
he
was
did.
there with the first one,
He was there
2017.
when they won the one in 2017. Yeah, the timeline's all weird. Because I want to say he was either there for the Super Bowl that they lost as well. I can't remember. But he was a director of college scouting and earned 2 promotions to assistant director of player personnel and director of player personnel. So he wasn't just a guy on the staff. He was a guy who they looked at as a guy making moves and making decisions that worked out, and he really helped put together a lot of that team. And then he also started out in Baltimore. That was his first role as a player personnel assistant, and he was there when they won the championship in 2012. So Ian Cunningham's our guy. We had some interviews with other guys like Joe Douglas, who former GM of the Jets, James Lipford, a former front office guy with the Patriots, Josh Williams, one of the guys who like an understudy of John Lynch in San Fran. After listening to all of everybody who was considered, are you satisfied?
As far as Ian as our GM, you know what? Yeah, I am, man. I am. I think he was the of all the candidates we interviewed, he kind of fits the mode of what we're looking for. He I feel like he's going to be somebody who's a little bit more pragmatic in his approach, someone who's more willing to trade back as opposed to trade up like Terry would always do.
Yeah.
Granted, Terry hit. I ain't gonna lie, when them first round draft picks, he knew how to hit them. Maybe not so much with Pitts, but hey, that's we gonna see on that one, man. Because Pitts, he technically had a career year this year. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I feel like because he's gonna be working in tandem with Matt Ryan, so I feel like those two combined is gonna make I feel like it's gonna be a nice little tag team duo. I'm optimistic about how free agency and how the draft is gonna look with those two kind of running the helm.
I'm right there with you. So, when it came to GM candidates, the two guys that were at the top of my personal wish list were Josh Williams and Ian Cunningham in no particular order. Actually, Ian Cunningham was tops. He's good for the culture.
He actually is, bro.
I had to throw that in there.
But he's a Georgia boy, man. He's from Atlanta, man.
He's actually good for the culture. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I was being cheeky, but he's actually good for the culture. Like he knows what the city craves. You know what I'm saying? So there's that connection to Atlanta. Also, he was a former O lineman in college at University of Virginia, and then he was with the Ravens. He was with the Eagles. He with the Bears. And every one of those stops, particularly the Ravens and the Eagles, have had a huge emphasis on correcting the trenches. They've had a huge emphasis, and he's an old lineman, so I expect that he's going to look at the trenches and say, "Yeah, we need to step our game up there." And I feel like that's a great way to build a long-standing competing team. Um, and honestly, I'm kind of stoked about that one. I'm pretty excited. Um, and I want to see more about where this goes. You seeing this shit?
Oh yeah. I think I am. What is that?
That's a person watching this podcast that hasn't subscribed. Subscribe. The button's down below. And I want to see and honestly, one of the things that I'm also excited about with Ian Cunningham too, is his strong college scouting background because that gives more hope that he knows how to draft, right? Like he's a guy who he spent a lot of time around the college game. In fact, it was so crazy. He was with Ryan Poles at the Senior Bowl, and we didn't have a representative at the Senior Bowl, and it was like, boy, that boy Matt was like, nah. We already got our representative at the Senior Bowl. He just not employed with us yet. All right.
Ah, yes, sir.
So we already got a guy already looking at the Senior Bowl, already got plenty of experience working in scouting. And like you said, he comes from programs that value drafting back, acquiring more picks. And when you got a guy who comes from philosophy of drafting back and acquiring picks, but also knows how to draft those players, that could be huge because it obviously helps with your cap down the line. Because we've been a team that's real front heavy and top heavy on offense. So we need more depth on offense. But when you talk about how the offense is built, you got high draft pick in Kyle Pitts, high draft pick in Drake London, high draft pick in Michael Penix Jr., and obviously high draft pick in the best the best player in football, Bijan Robinson. And them guys gonna have to get paid. And then you got two first rounders on your edge that are both the same year. Now you get that 50 option for both, but you might end up having to pay for both. So we got a lot of moves to look at. And I want to see how Ian Cunningham navigates some of these sticky situations we got coming up. Because obviously, Jesse Bates is about to be coming in the last year of his contract. Kate Ellis about to be a free agent. I guess we can go over. Kate Ellis, keep or let him go
Is he gonna be a free agent this year?
this year. He has signed a 3-year deal.
100% keep. I thought he
Yeah.
had one more year on his deal left.
No.
Oh my God, hell yeah! How make that shit
To
happen?
me, a big underrated part of having a great defense is you got to have two good linebackers. Honestly, I think we bring him back and bring in some depth.
Yeah, because I think the Devon Diablo's deal 1 or 2 year deal.
It's definitely more than one, so it's at least 2. I think it's 2 years.
All right, yeah, we got to keep him, re-sign Caden, and bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna make things shake this upcoming free agency, man. We got some hoes we got to fill.
Oh, I'm about to throw some names out there.
Oh my, yeah, keep throwing them, baby. Keep throwing them.
Tyler Algier. Let him rock.
You know, I want to keep him, but
Yeah.
financially, we probably gotta let him ride.
Yeah.
And I hate that we have to let him be a casualty because that man has never fumbled and he is the perfect thunder to our lightning.
Yeah.
You need thunder to go with lightning, man. You need that boomstick. And
Yeah.
I'm if the choice between keeping Tyler Algier and letting Kyle Pitts walk, let Kyle Pitts walk and keep Tyler Algier.
Oh. I was just about to ask about Kyle Pitts next, but
I want to and that's the thing. We're gonna have to let somebody walk. Unfortunately, somebody's gonna have to walk. And if I had the choice, I'm keeping Tyler and I'm letting Kyle walk. But that's just me. That's just me, dude. That's just me. Granted, this new system gonna be very tight end heavy. So maybe we pick up somebody else from the Browns, maybe like Njoku. But hey, I don't know how we gonna make it shake, but find a way to keep Algier.
I feel like I love Algier. I really do. And even the first year when he ran for 1,000 yards, I mean, he did it in 16, so it still count, but he missed the first game of that year. He was a healthy scratch. And so he didn't get 17 games to run for 1,000 as a rookie. He ran for 1,000 in the traditional 16-game format. And like you said, he's been extremely solid, but I think sometimes you got to let Michael Turner go to the Falcons and get his career underway. You know what I'm saying? And with Algier, bro, I think he ready to go get that bag and he ready to go get them carries and totes. And he'll never get that in Atlanta with Bijan here. So, I'd love to bring him back, but I don't think we're gonna afford him. I think you got to go ahead and let him go ahead and do his thing. Now with Kyle Pitts, that's a tricky one. The thing that makes it tricky is you're not satisfied with your receiver room. All right. It's only one ball to go around. If you were satisfied with your receiver room, then I'd say, yeah, go ahead, let him see what's out there for him. But it's also hard because it's like he's still young. Like even now, as long as he's been in the league, bro, what is he even 25 yet? I think he's probably gonna be starting next season 25, age 25.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kyle
Um,
Pitts is young, man. He's
that's what I'm
very
saying.
young,
So
dude.
he's and he, technically he had two pretty decent seasons, technically.
Do we franchise
One
tag him? Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what we do with
Look,
him.
I'd be down for a franchise tag for this year, depending on who we keep and who we bring in, right? So maybe you got to franchise tag him for now to start, and then decide if you're gonna let him go, or keep him. But because when I look at our receiver group, you know, Mooney's still under contract, but I think you got to strongly consider cutting Mooney. Um. I think his best time was with Kirk, and spoilers. I think it's time to go ahead and let Kirk walk. And I just don't see a world where you can take on any more cap from Kirk, any cap hit from Kirk, especially if the plan is to move forward with Penix, right? I think right now nothing, you can take nothing more than the bridge at that position. So when I look at Darnell Mooney and say, all right, all of your production was with Kirk, and Kirk's not going to be here. Well, I honestly wasn't overly impressed with him this past year. And, you can attribute that to the guy breaking his collarbone before the season and not really being able to get on the same page. And it seemed like all the receivers had like some sort of funk going on. Everybody who wasn't Drake London um, just seemed disengaged in some way, right? So when I see that receiver room, I'm like, oof. You got to at least consider bringing Kyle Pitts back. I know he's underperformed for his relative to his draft position. There were guys um that were behind him that would turn out to be way better. And also at the same time, of course he performed well in the contract year. So like, why would we, pay him now and then watch him go back to what he's been, especially when we got a new coach? And there's a lot of valid reasons not to pay him, but I think you gotta go ahead and slap that franchise tag on him and at least see. You don't want to mess because I understand all the X, Y, and Z, but I'm like, look, you drafted him that high for a reason. The thing you can't do is just let him walk out without at least seeing one more year if he can do that again. You know what I'm saying? Lest he be the next Sam Darnold, a guy who, performed well and then you let him walk right out the door and now he about to lead the team to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. But it all depends on how the cap play out. Obviously we probably gonna cut some people. And I don't know. I think I'm going to see us wheel and deal a little bit. So that those. Now, how do you feel about Mooney? I know, like I said, he's not a free agent. But do you feel we need to cut Mooney?
Given how bone thin our receiving core is, I wouldn't say not completely against keeping him, but if we can maybe restructure his contract a little bit, maybe restructure some things, and maybe who knows, man? Maybe
Yeah,
kick the
tack on
can,
some void years,
tack on some void years or something. Yeah,
spread it out.
because we need some more depth in the receiving room. So like to me, Mooney at this point, he wide receiver 3, and we need to bring in a legitimate wide receiver 2 to have at least some legitimate options. So if we could restructure his deal, keep him. If not, let him walk. But you also understand, like, we got some holes to fill, bro. I thought we had one more year with Caden Ellis. I did not know he was a free agent this year. He has to resign with us, and he had a good year, so he gonna command some. He gonna command a solid chunk of money.
Oh, I got another one for you too. D Offer is about to be a free agent.
Oh, we gotta bring back D.
You see what I'm saying?
We gotta bring back D, and D's one of those guys where he's a depth piece. He's a solid depth piece, man.
He
Especially
kind
when
of is.
especially with Billy Bowman going out like that. Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
Billy Bowman is hurt.
and he came off an Achilles. Granted, he's young, so I think he'll be able to bounce back from that bad boy. But it takes like a good year or two to come back from an Achilles.
It kind of like, and
It
then
kind of takes you 2 years to come back from 100% from an Achilles, dog. So
and look, that's just
yeah,
physically. When you talk about mentally, man, like that, like the
and he
fear of planting back on that foot.
and he got hurt in a walkthrough, not in a game.
Yeah.
In a walkthrough, dog. He popped his Achilles in a walkthrough, dude. So yes, D Alford, he gonna have to come back. He gonna have to come back. Yeah.
All
Like we
right.
got and we only got what, like 5 draft picks this year. We don't have a first. This is gonna be a interesting offseason for us, man.
Hey, Ian about to earn his check in the year one.
That's what Ian, Matt, Kevin. We didn't even talk about our OC. What's his name?
Tommy Reese.
Tommy Reese. These jokers about to earn that check year one, brother. Because this defense got some pieces. This defense, as it is right now, I'm anticipating them to. I'm anticipating this level of play. We had 57 sacks. I don't anything less than 50 sacks this upcoming year is not good enough.
I ain't gonna lie. Look, the way I look at it,
That's the new standard.
I like you heard me say it. I think we need to continue to invest in defense. I know people want to just focus on offense, get a secondary receiver, get another backup tackle that can be a swing tackle. Well, technically, Storm Norton was a swing tackle. He just got hurt too. But get that guy who's going to be a long-term replacement for either Jake Matthews or Caleb McGarry. Start developing that person now.
Yes, I agree. Completely agree. We need another one of those guys. We need one sorely. But it's like, man, we got some holes to fill.
Ryan Newsel entering the last year of his contract.
Man, dog, we got some.
So, I ain't done. I ain't done, brother. This is about to be the last year of Matthew Bergeron contract. So yeah. And so for me to say all of that, for me to say all of that about, the obvious spots on the O-line we're going to have to fix, that we need a secondary receiver. If we don't bring back Kyle Pitts, we need to figure out what we're going to do with tight end. You know what I'm saying? What we're going to do with backup running back. That's not Bijan. Who we going to bring in as our backup / bridge quarterback? There's a lot of holes to fill there. But I feel like with the defense, you are still close to having an elite unit. Right now, you might still need to prep blitz. You might still need to do those stunts, but you can produce an elite pass rush, right? I feel like now with another year, a lot of those pass rushers are going to be another year developed, and they're going to need the blitz less, and they're going to need to stunt less. And now you just need to stack on some more defensive pieces.
We need a legit number 2 cornerback too.
That's what I was about to say, because now Mike Hughes still got 2 more years on his deal. But I think if you can mess around and get you a guy who can be your long-term number 2, that could be huge. You mess around and I don't like to talk like this because I've loved having this guy here, but if we being real, Jesse Bates about to make grown man money. And he ain't done nothing to suggest that his price tag going down. So you might want to look into a guy who can possibly be a Jesse Bates replacement.
Oh my goodness, man.
You know what I'm saying? You might already have that guy on the roster, but I feel like you gotta look at that. You gotta, if a good pass rushing defensive tackle falls down, you gotta look at that. If you can get another linebacker who actually can be a contributor, not like a guy like, Troy Anderson or Jack, what's his face?
JD Bertrand.
JD Bertrand, Jesus Christ. JD Bertrand had a rough year last year, man. And
oh yeah.
I forgot Troy Anderson was on the team until just now when I mentioned it. And I'm just like, man, look. And then, Arnold Ebiketie about to be a free agent. I don't know if I want to pay for that.
Man, we got some. Whew.
Like, if we can keep that price tag cheap enough, yeah, I'd love to bring Ebiketie back. But if we got to actually pay him, if we got to pay him like $10 million a year, I feel like I can find somebody cheaper to do that. You know what I'm saying? I can find somebody to do that for $8 million. What's his face about to be a free agent as well? Leonard Floyd, he about to be a free agent. And then I don't know if David Onyemata about to be a free agent, but shit, I know if he not, you probably got to consider cutting him based on his contract. And I'm just like, if your defense was already good, why not build off of that? Go ahead and start backfilling those spots now. And then you can mess around and build that defense into being one of the elite units in the NFL. And now you mess around and you got you an elite defense, and as long as you got Bijan, you got a run game. You got something to work with. And then later on, when it's down the line, you can already start saying, all right, now that we did that, we can go ahead and start fixing our old line for the long term. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll squeeze another couple years out of Noozle. Technically, even though I know we got to get our long-term replacement, technically, Caleb McGarry and Jake Matthews would still be under contract for 2027. So the main ones you got to figure out is going to be center and right guard, and you can honestly conceivably bring both of those guys back, at least for continuity's sake, while you figure out, all right, what we going to do, with long-term plays. So the way I look at it, as long as you can keep Drake London in house, maybe get a suitable backup. I mean, suitable number two receiver or a pass catcher of any type, be it tight end or receiver. I feel like you can focus on turning this defense from good to great. So that's just me. That's how I'm looking at it. But I feel like we still got a lot to see. Let's just see how the numbers roll out. The salary cap supposed to be well over $300. I mean, 300 million, right? So I think we, at least in the top half of available cap space, we like number 14 or something like that.
And then with restructures or cutting people, we can maybe make some more money out of that.
Exactly, yeah.
Granted, we're gonna have to re-sign some people.
Yeah.
Like Hayden, but at the same time, hey, like you said, my boy, they will be earning their money year one.
Yeah, yeah. But if they can get through that 1 year, then next year you got a full supply of draft picks. You're not too locked into too many contracts, especially if you don't re-sign Pitts. If you don't re-sign Pitts, you can focus on trying to get Drake London done now.
Yeah.
You can also get Bijan. Not my mic over. Then you can also get Bijan done a year early as well.
Which I would love because the price is only going to go up with him.
I swear, I'm like, look, man. I know we still about to find out the awards, but I'm like, he might mess around and win Opoi. And like, yeah, now you're running back, then been an all-pro, multi-time Pro Bowler,
first team All-Pro.
First team All-Pro, and I'm like, now all he needs is an offensive player of the year. And now you paying the record-breaking running back contract.
And he deserves it, but man.
And look. No matter what, if you let him get paid last, he gonna want to make more than whatever Jahmyr Gibbs making. I'm like, get it out of the way early. Hell, I don't know if it's possible, but if you can go ahead, get Bijan and Drake done the same offseason, get that out the way now, I would love it. Even if that means that you can't bring Pitts or Algier back, I'm happy. Just get that out the way early, and then you set yourself up in 2027 where you got a full complement of draft picks, possibly some compensatory picks. I don't know if we will. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I would like to think that if Ian Cunningham coming from the Ravens and the Eagles background, that he would understand how to make moves for compensatory picks. All right. So then you got those two, and the compensatory picks with the draft, and then hopefully you'll still have some money left over to make some moves, and then hopefully we can do something like an overhaul like the Bears did this past offseason, and then turn it around and get you to a playoff team.
Couldn't agree more, my brother. We got some questions. Man. I can't wait for free agency. I can't wait. I can't wait. Man.
I just want to see, yeah.
But I'm just ready to see what happens, dude, because we got so many questions that need to be answered, man. And we're already talking about 2027, and as fans, we live in the present. Like, I know me as a fan. All I can think about is 2026 and how can this team make the playoffs. But if we're being honest, I feel like our best foot forward ain't gonna be there till 2027.
But no, that's the beautiful part about it all. You can conceivably do both because you play in the NFC South.
That's a fact, man. Hey,
like honestly, you can realistically have this team be a 9-win team. That's they just showing some promise. A young team showing promise, and you make the playoffs.
It could happen, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And if our defense is playing well enough, maybe we can win a game or two.
And look, and
that's any given Sunday, man.
And that's where that's where how we manage this offseason, how we manage this cap, how we manage this draft is going to be huge. Because, we nervous because we going into this draft with 5 picks. But guess how many picks did we have last draft?
5.
We had 5. Now the difference is
We had
last
our
draft
first.
we had 2 first rounders and no second and then the third, where now we have a second, third, fourth. I don't know if we have a fifth, but probably sixth or seventh. So at least one or two of those. Like I don't know if we're gonna be able to count on 3 starters in this draft. But maybe we get 2 and a good backup. It's all about whether or not we hit on the guys that we pick. So we're gonna see a lot. But if we can get guys and just literally win one more game than we did last year, we could possibly be winning the division, have a winner. And hell, even if we don't win the division, are you going to be dissatisfied with a 9-8 record? Are you going to be dissatisfied with a winning record?
If we go 9-8 next year and miss the playoffs with Stefanski in his first year, Ian Cunningham in his first year as a full GM, Matt Ryan his first year as the president of football operations, and we had no first round draft pick, I'd be pretty happy.
You see what I'm saying?
I'd be pretty happy. It'd be a step up. It'd be a step in the right direction.
That's what I'm saying. And then you can go into that offseason saying you went 9-8 with your with your coach in his first year, with your GM in his first year, with Matt Ryan in his first year, and then you can build off of that with a draft that has more picks and an offseason with more money.
That's the biggest thing. That might be the one saving grace that I feel this year is that we finally cleaned house as far as front office personnel.
Yeah. You
Like
talking
Rich
Rich
McKay is no longer in the building. I finally feel like we have a clear direction, a
Yeah.
clear headed direction with people who want to win, and we're all in alignment. Everybody's in alignment, in agreement, and we're gonna move in the right direction together. And that's, as a Falcons fan, that's something I've been looking forward to in a while, man. That's it right there. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this offseason. I'm nervous about how the draft is going to play out, in a sense that I just hope we can't fuck up in that kind of sense. Like, we only got 5 picks and we don't have a first round draft pick. We got to re-sign guys. We got limited cap space. That means some guys are going to have to walk. I'm nervous about the decisions we have to make, but I think as a team, they finally going to make the right decisions. So whatever they do, I think it's going to be the right move.
I mean, I feel like they could still F it up because they the Falcons, but
I mean, they can. But hey, what did we say earlier? Hey, what comes from the Browns makes the Falcons better.
yeah. And look, I'm not holding my breath too much. I'm just excited to see what happens. I'm just excited to see what happens.
Same.
And honestly, I'm excited that I think we got some guys in the building that know football. Guys who, they understand several things. Like, you get a guy like Matt Ryan, he understands the city of Atlanta, understand what it's really about here. He like, hey man, look, it's a city that you're gonna have to earn it. You're not gonna just, oh, you the team and everybody's still showing up and you selling tickets. Hell no. The Falcons, when y'all winning, they show up. And when y'all not, they don't. You got to earn it. So he understands that's important in the city. You get a guy like Ian Cunningham. I love former old linemen because they love trenches. And you're going to get a guy in the front office that I think is going to value the trenches. And you're going to have a head coach that like to run the ball. And we're going to keep our defensive coordinator who know how to get after the passer. And I mean, like you said, it's a vision that we seem like we want to be a team that's going to lean on running the ball and playing good defense, and maybe making some plays here and there that are going to be important. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of that's just what I'm looking forward to seeing about them. I just want to see how all of that goes, and obviously it's going to start with the offseason. This offseason start with free agency.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I'm looking forward to the free agency window.
Yeah. So
No tampering this time.
no. You can tamper, just don't get caught.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it all shakes out. All right. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here, Cam?
I feel like we covered it all, my man. I feel like we covered everything. I'm pretty. I'm feeling pretty good about this episode.
All right. Well, look. I am feeling pretty splendid myself. I think that's more or less all of my thoughts. Um. We're gonna keep an eye on how they do things. I mean, I'm definitely interested to see. I think at this point now, we just going through the regular offseason process. We just waiting for the combine, which is coming up this month. Then we waiting for free agency, which is gonna happen in March. Then we waiting for the draft in April, and then offseason. We're gonna see how rookies look in mini camp in May.
Oh yeah, baby.
And then the dead period until football starts again. It'll go by in a flash. It'll be football season again before you know it.
For real. For
Yeah.
real, man.
All right. Well, we really appreciate all of you guys joining us for another episode. Like we said, it's been a while, but we're excited to get back to it and to talk about Atlanta Falcons football. We love this team. We know you guys love this team. And we come there to view this place as a place of fellowship, and we talk about the Falcons in the fashion that we need to as fans. Please, you guys know the drill by now. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the little bell when you want to hear some real niggas uploading. Peace.